The debate had barely begun when Jasmine Crockett leaned forward, her voice sharp enough to slice through the noise of the studio. "America deserves honesty," she declared, fixing her eyes on Ivanka Trump, who sat across the stage. "And tonight, I'm going to say what no one in your circle dares to admit." The audience grew still. Cameras zoomed in. Ivanka adjusted her microphone, preparing to deliver her usual polished defense. But Crockett didn't give her the chance. "Your perfect marriage image," she said with sudden force, "is nothing but a staged performance. And the truth is finally out." The words dropped like thunder, silencing even the moderators. For a moment, Ivanka's face froze, her composure cracking under the weight of the accusation. The crowd erupted in a mixture of gasps, murmurs, and scattered applause. Crockett pressed on, her tone steady, her words echoing across the studio. "This isn't about gossip. This is about integrity. If you want to stand here and speak about family values, then explain why your own foundation is falling apart." Every second of silence felt like an eternity. Social media feeds lit up instantly, hashtags flashing across millions of screens. Clips of the moment began spreading before Ivanka could even form a response. The stage, once balanced between two opponents, now tilted sharply, with Crockett holding the upper ground. Ivanka Trump had always cultivated an image of elegance and control, the polished daughter of a former president who balanced business ventures with public appearances and carefully curated family portraits. For years, her marriage to Jared Kushner had been presented as the unshakable foundation of that image, a symbol of stability amid political chaos. Magazines displayed glowing features about their partnership, photographs of vacations, charity events, and moments with their children. To her supporters, Ivanka embodied loyalty and strength, a figure who could glide through storms untouched. But Jasmine Crockett had a different reputation. Known for her fearlessness in Congress, she was the sharp-tongued representative who never hesitated to confront power directly. To her critics, she was reckless. To her fans, she was fearless. Crockett had built her political brand on exposing what others preferred to leave in the shadows, and she had no intention of softening her tone in front of the Trump dynasty's most protected figure. As the cameras rolled and millions watched live, Crockett made it clear she wasn't here for polite exchanges. She reminded the audience that politics wasn't just about policies, it was about the truth behind the people who claimed authority. "We've seen your photo spreads," Crockett said with a cold smile. "We've heard the speeches about family values, but let's not pretend those glossy images tell the real story." The tension on stage deepened. The moderator shifted uncomfortably, uncertain whether to intervene or let the confrontation run its course. The audience sensed that something explosive was building, something that went beyond ordinary political sparring. This was no longer about party lines or policy differences. It was about personal credibility, about whether Ivanka Trump's public life could withstand the piercing force of Jasmine Crockett's accusations. Jasmine Crockett didn't hesitate. She raised her voice, not in anger, but with the precision of a prosecutor presenting evidence. "Reports don't lie, Ivanka," she said, holding up a stack of printed articles. "Whispers in the press, insiders talking, even leaks from your own so-called allies. It's all out there, and it paints a very different picture of your marriage." Ivanka tried to interject. "This is absurd," but Crockett cut her off. "Absurd? Then explain the nights you spent apart from your husband when the cameras weren't rolling. Explain why those closest to you say the partnership is nothing more than a business contract dressed up as love." The audience gasped. Ivanka leaned forward, her voice tightening. "You have no right to drag my family into this circus." Crockett fired back instantly. "No right. When you campaign on morality and family values, the public has every right to know if those claims are built on lies. America isn't interested in a fairy tale staged for magazine covers. They want the truth." The moderators attempted to regain control, but the floodgates were open. Crockett unleashed detail after detail, rumors of private disputes, whispers about separate living arrangements, and claims that Ivanka's carefully polished, similarly concealed fractures too deep to hide forever. Each statement hit like a hammer, echoed by a chorus of reactions online. On Twitter and TikTok, clips of Ivanka's attempts to defend herself clashed with Crockett's sharp retorts. Supporters of the Trumps called it a smear campaign. Critics called it accountability at last. The studio audience, caught between shock and fascination, murmured louder with every exchange. Ivanka's defenses grew shorter, weaker. "That's personal," she insisted. "My marriage is my own." But Crockett leaned closer, her voice low, but devastatingly clear. "Not when you make it the foundation of your political identity. If you build your brand on family, then the cracks in that family are not private. They're the truth the public deserves." The words landed like a final blow, the tension so thick that even the moderators stopped trying to intervene. The battle lines were drawn. Crockett had cornered Ivanka, and the entire nation was watching to see how she would escape. The air in the studio felt electric, as if everyone sensed the moment was about to cross a line that couldn't be reversed. Jasmine Crockett paused, letting the silence stretch, then delivered the sentence that shattered the room. "Your husband," she said with deliberate clarity, "has been negotiating his own exit, and the documents proving it are already in circulation." Gasps filled the hall. Ivanka's face drained of color, her lips parting but no words coming out. The moderators froze, unsure whether to challenge the claim or let the storm play out. Crockett held her ground, her eyes locked on Ivanka. "While you're sitting here telling America about values, Jared Kushner has been preparing for life without you. And if you think I'm bluffing, check tomorrow's headlines. They've already got the story." The studio erupted into chaos. Audience members shouted over one another, some booing, others cheering, phones raised high to capture every second. On social media, the clip was already exploding. Within minutes, hashtags like Ivanka Shattered and hashtag Marriage Bombshell began trending worldwide. Ivanka tried to rally, her voice trembling. "This is slander, pure slander," she said, but the words lacked the polished calm she usually carried. Crockett only leaned closer to her microphone, speaking with steady precision. "Slander dies in silence. Truth echoes everywhere. And Ivanka, tonight, the echo has begun." Reporters backstage scrambled to verify the claim, phones buzzing with leaks, texts, and half-confirmed sources. Networks broke into their coverage with developing story banners. Pundits debated in real time whether Crockett had crossed a line or revealed one of the biggest cracks in the Trump dynasty yet. But in the studio, none of that mattered. What mattered was the stunned expression on Ivanka Trump's face and the roar of an audience that knew they had just witnessed history unfold live. It was no longer a debate. It was a political earthquake. The moderators finally regained a sliver of control, urging calm, but the damage was irreversible. Ivanka Trump sat stiffly, her silence saying more than any rebuttal could. Every camera in the studio zoomed in on her, capturing the rare moment when her carefully built image cracked under pressure. Across the nation, living rooms buzzed with disbelief and commentators rushed to label the moment as either the greatest act of political theater or the most humiliating defeat of her career. Jasmine Crockett's closing words sealed the night. "America deserves leaders who live the truth they preach. If your story can't withstand scrutiny, then maybe it was never real to begin with." The crowd roared, some cheering in agreement, others stunned into silence. For Crockett's supporters, it was a triumph. For Ivanka's loyalists, it was an outrage. For everyone else, it was a spectacle too powerful to ignore. Within hours, every network replayed the exchange, analysts dissecting every phrase, every glance, every hesitation. Social media fractured into battle lines, memes flooding timelines while hashtags surged across platforms. Some defended Ivanka as a victim of ruthless political ambush. Others insisted the confrontation had finally exposed the hollowness of her public image. But one truth was undeniable. The debate would forever be remembered not for its policy points, but for the moment when Jasmine Crockett dropped her bombshell and Ivanka Trump was left shaken in front of millions. The clash blurred the boundary between personal and political, proving once again that in today's arena, private life is never truly private. As the stage lights dimmed and the broadcast ended, the world was left to debate not just Ivanka's marriage, but the broader question of what authenticity means in politics. Was the confrontation an act of cruelty or a necessary tearing away of illusion? Whatever the verdict, one reality remained clear. The night had redefined Ivanka Trump's place in the public eye, and the reverberations of that bombshell would echo far beyond the studio walls.